Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So yesterday I talked about the 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 stock market, Wall Street, the formula of emotional buying and selling, and what they recommend and what has been proven, which makes sense as far as why people buy at the top of the market and why they lose their ass at the top of the market. Okay. And it's no different than when somebody at the top of their game in their life, and that's why they don't do Jilly Juice, because when you think about it, the Jilly Juice will bring you back to reset. So in essence, it's like a reset, like going to the bottom of the market very quickly. It's not like you're losing anything on the J Juice, but you're going to have to now take a hit in your health to where you're not going to be on your game. Now, you'll be improving your health over time, but when you do the J Juice, you're going to have to give yourself rest, and you're going to have to feel the healing. You're going to have to kind of chill out, and you may need to learn how to balance all that out. So when I learned yesterday, just even looking at their little formula on why you should buy at the bottom of the market, because then you'll be making your money as it climbs to the top, and you don't know how long it's going to be, but when you see indicators that at the bottom is going to fall out, then you get out before you lose all your money. Okay, so that's why you don't buy at the top of your market, and that's probably why people don't do the J Juice run at the top of their game, because they don't want to take a hit in their energy. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. So then now we look at balance between the fear, because I know I've been talking about how I don't like the activists out there that are all about the fear, 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 and that's all they ride upon is fear, fear, fear. You know, like News Target today, all these different like Natural News and all these different conspiracy websites and all these holistic websites, their whole platform is about fear. They have a few what they would call solutions, which is basically applying the wrong chemistry, but most of their articles are very fear-based. And then I'm railing on them, Byron, and then I'm railing on them, and then I'm coming off like with the fear stuff too. However, I'm coming up with a very balanced approach. Now, they could say they're balanced too, so everyone has a perception of what balance is. But I want you to understand that with the whole thing with the J Juice, you're balancing the fear of what potentially, if you don't want to be on the other side of life, which is death, then you have to have a little healthy amount of fear. Just like you have to have a little bit of hormones that has adrenaline and has endorphins, as well as then oxytocin. So you know when to call up those hormones when needed, and then when to suppress them when you don't need them. Well, that's the same thing with a little bit of fear. You got to have a little fear to kind of keep you moving, to keep you motivated, to then have the courage to understand the Jilly Juice information. And then at some point you have to relax. Okay, so the whole point of Jilly Juice is to understand how much is too much mucus, because then you know you're sick. And then you know, if you don't have any mucus at all ever, it means that you're not in an environment where you're adapting. The environment's always changing, so then there's something else going on. Okay, so there's always a balance of you have too many probiotics or not enough, too many antibiotics but not enough, too much air but not enough. It's all about balance. And when you first start the Jilly Juice, you're already imbalanced. You already have too many minerals, you're over mineralized, too many acids, and then too many hormonal imbalances. And you all see it, you all know it. Now, how do you go and then try to rectify it and balance everything out? Well, in the beginning, you're doing a discrimination method to where you're avoiding certain foods, and then you're taking in a lot of the J Juice, okay? And then you're dealing with the healing symptoms. So, you know, so you're going to be playing the discrimination game for a certain amount of time until everything is well balanced and balanced out, and then you will be eating whatever you want, and then you will look for indicators for when your body is adapting, and you're not going to treat those indicators or symptoms as if it was something that was bad. You know that, just letting you know that you're entering into a new environment, or a new environment entering into your house, and your body has to adjust. Okay, so it's all about balance. And so with the whole thing with the J Juice is that we are balancing the fear of all the different things that are out there that we don't really know. Like, we don't know for sure what the end result is. I mean, we're looking at all these different fires in California, and the earthquakes, and everyone's put out their fear about there's this big volcano is going to explode and destroy everything. I mean, come on. There's some things that you can't control. So why even live in fear? Okay. There are other things that you can control. And so a little bit of fear there to then give you the courage to then deal with the healing. And then at some point you have to relax, because some of you are all about going, and you're not relaxing at all whatsoever. And then some of you are relaxing way too much, and then your body's atrophying. Okay, but there's still a war going on inside of you. So, the thing with the J juice is that it's no different than the whole thing with the Trump and the thing with the Pelosi and the Democrats and Republicans, is that those are basically hormone balances. They're there to keep everybody living and going and injecting some kind of energy into the economy to keep industries going, to keep people moving. Because if we were all happy all the time and peaceful, nobody would get off their ass and do anything. Okay? And so with the J juice, you learn the balance between fear, courage, and relaxation. And when your body needs to take a nap, you don't try to take the J juice to stop you from taking a nap. Take a nap. However, if you're in a job and you can't afford to take a nap during the day because you got to work, well, then take the time on the weekends or go to bed early. And so it's just those things of balancing out your body, listening to your body, and understanding how to work between the fear, the courage, and relaxation. Because, yeah, I do put a lot of articles that would strike fear in the heart of man who is imbalanced. When I talk about the Ebola virus or all these different viruses that are very, very aggressive, because we have 7 billion people on the planet who are running their viruses through their bodies that are kind of imbalanced, those of you that are not doing the J juice are rolling the dice every single time you walk out the door. And yeah, people could be like, well, I'm being proactive, taking elderberry syrup and colloidal silver and all these different types of antibiotics, but how long can your body that's already imbalanced be plied with the wrong chemistry that then eventually will cause more imbalances? You got lactic acidosis, too much probiotics, but not enough electrolytes to offset it. You take too many minerals like colloidal silver, then you're going to have a heavy metal toxification, which will cause more imbalances. Then you're like, oh, well, I'll just go take some kombucha with a bunch of these, with a bunch of minerals in it. And then I'll have the sugar in there, right? Because people want to take all these different things and compartmentalize all of J juice, and they put it in specific drinks. Like you see, J juice has the lactic acid, it has the pro hormones or the macro and micronutrition, and has the minerals. Okay, and it's all in a drink. It's all in a chemical process. And so somebody will then justify, well, I'll eat a bunch of pureed cabbage, and I'll take some kombucha. And of course, you need sugar too. Okay, so then they'll do the kombucha fermented sugar, and then they'll take and then they might drink some salt water to give them the electrolytes. And they think taking those separate things and drinking it is going to give them the same result as the J juice. No, sorry, they've been doing that for years in the holistic world, where you compartmentalize all of those separate things and thinking that that's going to help you. No, the reason why J juice is so effective is because it's a chemical process put together. It's not compartmentalized and then you drink it separately as if your body was like disconnected. No, the J juice actually connects all those things and they balance out all the necessary components that your body needs. No, there's no sugar in the J juice, but then that's when you have the diet that has the fruit sugars. It has the potatoes. It has, whatever's in the diet. It has some of the nuts. But you do get a lot of sugar in the fruit. And that's a good sugar, okay? Though we are mitigating like the major carbs and the major like processed sugar. But we know people are eating off the diet, so it's not like you're not getting the things that you want to eat if you really, really have to, okay? So that's why the J juice is a balance of everything. It's a chemical process. It's not compartmentalized things. So don't think that drinking kombucha, drinking salt water, and then pureeing your cabbage is going to do anything for you, because it's not. Okay, because you still have holes in your gut. You still have leaky gut. And so no matter what, your body is so when you're taking that kombucha, you're throwing the balance off your body with all that extra acid, widening the holes in your gut. Then you're drinking the pureed cabbage, not even fermented, right? Because you're thinking that compartmentalizing J juice and have it separate is going to help you. No, you're not going to be taking in, your body's not going to be absorbing the minerals in that pureed cabbage juice, so it's totally a waste of time. And then you're drinking salt water, so you're energizing a body that already has malfunctions. Okay, and so it's a very messed up holistic allopathic way of applying a chemical process that Jilly Juice has perfected. There is no chemical process when you're taking in a kombucha with the sugar and the lactic acid and the salt water and then the pureed cabbage, raw cabbage. That's not how you do Jilly Juice. And anyone that tries to promote that doesn't understand chemistry and the chemical process. So the whole thing with the J Juice is the balancing of all of those together, but through a a bonding process. Chemistry is about bonding. You know, you have chemistry in relationships, chemistry in foods, chemistry in the air and the elements, you know, and you have to understand the right chemistry and the wrong chemistry. Okay, and obviously in the way, you know, like the allopathic and holistic world are putting together the wrong chemistry, and then the outcome is cancer, disease, chronic illness, and aging. Okay, so yes, I put a lot of fear out there of the viruses. I put a lot of fear out there regarding the acceleration of the death process when it comes to procreating on bodies that are still not correcting the weaknesses from generations ago. Okay, and so with that little bit of fear, hopefully incentivize people to get the courage to understand the J Juice. They do it, they go through the healing, they relax a little bit. They don't have to run on that hamster wheel that they've been running on for years and years and years. Maybe take a pay cut, maybe cut down your expenses so you can heal. Okay, maybe not have so many material needs that you have to go and slave for, which is why you are where you are, because you haven't allowed your body to heal. And you're so productive that you are producing yourself out of existence. So now the whole thing with the J Juice is how do you balance it out and still be a productive member in society, but you're also a healthy person making the right choices. And you're going to be a healthy member of society living a long time, not having an expiration date like most of your friends and family. Because once you're dead, you're not producing anymore. And then your family is not going to have you around anymore, and it's a sad time. And who wants to deal with that? I don't, but I know I will deal with it. But I don't want to put anybody else in that position of me passing away if I have the control not to. Okay, now we know there's things that we cannot control out there, and we don't fear that because we can't control it. But if you can control something, then why not? That's my whole point, is if you can control something, why not? So I do play the manipulation fear game a little bit because I got to incentivize you guys that you don't have all the time in the world. Some of you act as if you have all the time in the world, that you don't have to apply the J Juice at the high level right now because you have plenty of time. But you don't know to what extent how damaged your body is, and even the little bit of juice that you're bringing in your body is not going to be enough to overshadow the amount of issues that you have in your body, and then how the environment is. So sometimes the environment becomes more aggressive and you don't even realize it. Okay? Because, you know, especially through different weather changes, I mean, especially if you're living in a place like Ohio or any of the Northeast states, or way up in the mountains where like you have a bunch of snow every winter time. Okay? So every single time you go through an adaptation change, your body then lowers its immune system as it's going through the change, and then that's when people get sick. Because they're not strong enough to handle that change, and then they become sick and they have all these symptoms. Not that it's bad, but it's like that's what the flu season is. When someone gets a flu so bad, it means that their body is so weak that they, when they're going through the adaptation process, they're taking a hit. Now, every single season, you have the ability to strengthen your body so the next season isn't that bad, and then progressively the next season isn't that bad, to where then the only thing that you experience during those adaptation changes from one season to another is like you sleep a lot more, maybe a few things of mucus for like a day or so. Not like a cold or a flu or anything that you can diagnose where you feel like you have to take antibiotics for, which you wouldn't anyways. But my dog went through her adaptation change, which is a trip because that's my first time really seeing her go through an adaptation change and knowing what it was. Okay, her skin had to go deal with that adaptation change from summer to fall. Okay, so her immune system was lowered a little bit. She got a few fleas, no ticks, but a few fleas. She was itching a lot. And then finally, I helped a little bit with with the J juice. I gave her a lot of J juice, like outside and inside, and she drank a bunch of water. And then we kind of helped control, because the fleas were really bad this season. And we live next to an abandoned house with like stray cats. But whatever the case may be, we kind of helped in the house with some of the flea spray that's organic, I guess. And that was it. And now she's fine. But she had to go through that change. Now, the springtime is not so bad from winter to spring, but from spring, summer to fall is when the pestilence becomes at its height. It's really, really bad. And so, and we're all going through the adaptation, and then pestilence takes advantage. They exploit our adaptation process, and so do the viruses. Okay. So if it's summer all year round in a place, then you don't experience that much fluctuation unless you have a really weak body, and then you get those summer colds, which people are like, how do I get a summer cold? But sometimes it happens on very weak bodies. Okay. And I had that happen like 5 or 10 years ago. So yeah, so so at some point you're going to be able to strengthen your body every year to where you don't ever have to take a medication. You never really get a major symptom, and if you do, it's just your body adapting. I mean, me going through this stupid, this stupid period menstruation stuff. Okay, so so your body's going to be going through its war for women. Women have it a lot harder than men. Men really don't realize how lucky they are. They don't have to go through those hormonal changes every month. Because we women, I mean, even now, me on the protocol for about 3 years, going on 4 years, okay? I'm telling you, every month, the war isn't that bad like it used to be. It used to be a 2-week war right before I get my period. Then when I get my period, everything is like great. I feel so wonderful, so great, right? Now when I get my period, I'm sick on my period. And then a few days after that, I'm going through my own healing process. Okay. And so it's very different now. Now I'm hoping that now I'm going through this war over my period, that maybe down the road I don't get my period, but I don't know. I'm still putting it out there. That's a possibility, but I don't know. And yesterday I took the J juice. I took like a quart of it on my period, and I was going through some major interesting healing symptoms that have to do with the digestive system. And it's a trip. It's such a trip. It was like, oh my God. Imagine you're taking the J juice, you guys. Just imagine this, okay? And you know that when you do the J juice, your body releases and you're going through the waterfalls. Imagine not having the easy waterfalls after drinking a bunch of J juice and water. We were like, oh my God. Or the body releases only a little bit at a time. And then finally last night, and this morning, everything is good. But yesterday, it was, and I'm on the second day. Yesterday was the second day of my period, third day, or today's the third day. But yeah, so it's like I'm going through a war every month, like at least 1 or 2 days versus like 2 weeks. So I see a significant change. All right. But then, so you're paying attention to all of your healing symptoms, because they are going to change while you're on the J juice. So there's going to be a lot of balancing, understanding the process of J juice, and then balancing, understanding the world at hand, why you like what you like, why you don't like what you don't like, why we have the politics that we do, why it is that there is emotion, why there is like an actual formula to the stock market, and how and when to buy and when to sell. And you start realizing everything is connected, because everything is connected. Once you understand that humans are the root of money as well as poverty, then you realize, where does that come from? And poverty comes from sickness. Poverty comes from very weak bodies, body, mind, and spirit, majorly imbalanced. When people struggle, it comes from major imbalances of body, mind, and spirit. When somebody is so rich, okay, it also has to do with the luck that they have good genetics, because they were born in a family with a lot of money, but it's still the fact that they were able to maintain it. But it's still an imbalance. But now I'm putting it out there for those that are very, very rich, that you put enough money aside so that way you have time to heal, that you put your money in the right places, that it's making money for you, where you don't have to do too much, and then you have time to heal. So you can stay rich and put the money to good use. It's not just sitting there just collecting interest and not doing anything, because you want to put your minerals to something to help the world. But that's only very few people. Okay, most of you guys are living you know, with a little bit of savings and a few investments, but they could like disappear at some downturn of the economy, or you get sick for such a long time, you don't have the ability to produce. So, you know, so now it's a matter of just keeping the balance of you stay producing, okay? And then you put enough away where it collects interest and it works for you. And so that way when you want to take a break, you have something to fall back on. Okay? So, I mean, so anyways, so everything's connected, and it's all about balance. And once you understand how the human body works and how you operate in the world, then you understand how everybody else operates. You understand why your parents operate the way they do. You understand why the different industries operate the way they do, how companies operate, because you know how you operate, and you know what hormones are in charge and why they act the way they do. And then you'll know how to best navigate your way through any situation, regardless of what it is, and when to get away from a situation. Okay? So that's why the J juice is so important, because it has people really understand themselves and then the world at hand, and then they take themselves out of the war. They have their own wars to fight. People do in their body. Some people, you know, yeah, well, they have their own wars to fight. And so if you can lessen the amount of battles that you have, the easier it's going to be to heal with the J juice. Okay? So, yeah. So anyways, so I'm still healing from my stupid menstruation. Feel definitely better today, but yesterday was crazy. Yesterday was a battle. It was a battle like you would not believe. I felt like I was a freshman on the protocol. Okay? You know, I could feel it like I totally understand when someone said, I can't waterfall, no matter how much I drink, I can't waterfall. I'm like, oh my God. You know, even after drinking a quart on basically an empty stomach with a little bit of food, not being able to waterfall was just like, it was torture. It was freaking torture. But that's part of my period, my PMDD. So I think I'm healing the PMD part, because back when I was having my premenstrual dysphoric disorder, I would have major constipation and then major diarrhea. That was my curse. It was every single time I got my period, it was constipation for a few days, total bloatedness, just feel like, looked like I was pregnant. And then everything would get released right after I get my period. Well, that's kind of what it was like yesterday. But it all happened in one day versus like over a week. Okay. So, but it hasn't happened before that, because I hadn't taken the J juice on my period, because every single time I got my period the last couple of years since I've been on the J juice, I wouldn't take the J juice during that time, because I'd just be like, you know, whatever. And then after I'm done, I'll do the J juice. But this time I drank the J juice during that time, because I ate a bunch of granola, and granola is like cement. So I wanted to push it through, and then bam, I went through a major healing. So yeah, so you guys, when you go through different symptoms, it's the body trying to heal. So we'll see what happens next month. Okay? We'll see what happens next month. But I feel definitely better today, but it sucked yesterday. It really did. But you survive it. You guys will survive it. And then, so yeah, but how I knew that reproduction and all that wasn't something on a really healthy body was because why would a body feel sick during menstruation, during reproduction? Why would a body feel sick? Okay, and then after you have a baby, some people can bounce back, but every single time you have a baby thereafter, the body then is depleted more and more. Well, yeah, you lose your minerals because you're giving to a baby, and people are not repairing the damage from that change, that adaptation change, the hormonal changes, because hormones can really mess up your body if they're imbalanced. And so that's one of the things that we realize with J juice, is that you have to have your hormones balanced out, because hormones can destroy you as well as save you. Okay, the balance between destruction and creation. Okay, and it's all about balance. The J juice is all about balance and understanding that. But then you have to understand it from a very, very technical point of view, not so much as saying like, oh yeah, about balance. You do the keto diet and you only drink a little bit of alcohol, you only drink a little bit of this, and you know, you already have an imbalanced body, so you applying balance per se is not going to mean much when you have a major imbalance in your body. And so when someone says, oh yeah, it's all about balance, but they're really not doing the J juice, and they're all about the different diets and the different holistic supplements, all these different things. I'm like, well, you're applying this concept of balance as yes, it's right. Yes, it's correct, but you have a major imbalanced body. You're aging and degrading, and you're talking about balance, but yeah, you're not even balanced yourself. Well, I'm trying to, but yeah, you're applying the wrong chemistry. Do you believe in indefinite life? So it's more than just like saying and repeating a mantra of balance, because what does that actually mean? It means different things to different people. So now we're understanding what balance is from the Jilly Juice perspective. And that's very different than what people say out there in the matrix, in the allopathic holistic community, because it comes from a very different place. Okay? But it's still about balance, but what does it actually mean? And it comes from your mentality, okay, proactive and reactive, applying the right or wrong chemistry with a specific perceived outcome. So if you're not talking about balance and you believe people should die, then it's being hypocritical. And there's a lot of hypocrisy in our society. Oh yeah, you know, I believe in death, but I don't want to die today, type of thing. So, anyways, so yes, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go and chill out right now. But you guys have a good day. Stay warm. We're supposed to have some major storm this afternoon. So right now it's 60 degrees. It's going to be in the 30s tonight. So there's going to be a major flip in the weather today. Today is the day. It's Halloween too. So go figure. Halloween, we're having a major flip in the weather. It's bipolar today. Okay, so anyways, all right. Love you guys all. All right. Stay on the J Juice. Make sure you recognize the specific measurable results. It's not just paying lip service to all these different beautiful words. Are you actually reversing your aging process? Are you seeing every single disease you've ever had in your life and every single PTSD come to surface? And then are you seeing the actual specific measurable results? Are you reversing the aging process? And is that your intention? If it's not your intention, then don't even bother doing the J Juice, because then you're playing remedies with the J Juice. And then as soon as you're in pain, you're going to stop and then apply all your holistic stuff. But really, truly, the whole thing with J Juice is the whole point is to reverse the aging process, as well as all of your cancer, disease, and chronic illness. But reversing the aging process is paramount, because anybody can go and apply a holistic remedy and disappear symptoms. But what it really comes down to is living indefinitely and reversing the aging process. And if you're just doing J Juice a little bit here and there and you're so busy, it's not going to happen for you. You really have to put the time in. And some of you don't have the time because you're too busy pontificating about the afterlife. Well, then stay there. Have a good day. Bye.